The 1981 D Lincoln cent, also known as the 1981 D penny, is a small yet historically rich coin minted by the United States Mint at the Denver Mint facility in the year 1981. It is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series that began in 1959 and lasted through 2008, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This series was introduced to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and replaced the previous wheat-ear reverse design that had adorned the U.S. penny from 1909 to 1958. The 1981 D penny is particularly representative of the late copper-based cent coins, as it was one of the last full years in which pennies were primarily made of 95% copper before the composition change in 1982 due to rising copper prices. The D mint mark beneath the date on the obverse side of the coin signifies that it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the three major coin-producing facilities of the U.S. Mint system. The Denver Mint was responsible for producing billions of coins in 1981, with over 5.3 billion pennies minted bearing the D mark alone, reflecting both the massive circulation needs of the American economy and the emphasis on affordability and utility over numismatic elegance during this era. The obverse of the 1981 D penny features a right-facing profile portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. Brenner's design, first introduced in 1909, was the first time a U.S. coin depicted a real person, marking a significant departure from the traditional use of allegorical figures like Liberty. Brenner's initials VB can be subtly found on the truncation of Lincoln's shoulder on the obverse, a reintroduction that occurred in 1918 after an initial controversy about their prominence in the 1909 issue. The word Liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the date 1981 appears to the right, just above the mint mark D. Above Lincoln's head arches a national motto, "In God We Trust," a standard inscription on all U.S. coins since the early 20th century. The simplicity and consistency of this design have made it one of the most enduring and recognized coin portraits in American numismatics, symbolizing not just Lincoln's legacy, but also American ideals of freedom and trust in divine guidance. The reverse side of the coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the neoclassical Lincoln Memorial Building, a monument dedicated to Abraham Lincoln in Washington, D.C., completed in 1922. When magnified or viewed closely, one can actually observe a tiny engraved image of the seated statue of Lincoln between the columns of the memorial, an impressive detail on such a small coin. Above the building is the inscription, United States of America, while below the image is the denomination 1 cent. The phrase E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many one, a long-standing motto representing the unity of the diverse states forming the nation, is engraved above the memorial's roofline. Gasparo's reverse design, though minimalist in a sense, symbolizes national unity, democratic values, and enduring reverence for Lincoln as one of the most transformative leaders in American history. This reverse remained in use until 2008, after which the Lincoln Bicentennial and Shield Reverse series succeeded beginning in 2009. In terms of composition, the 1981 D penny was struck in a metal alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc, resulting in a coin that weighs approximately 3.11 grams. This copper-based composition was standard for Lincoln cents from 1962 through part of 1982, after which the mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc planchet, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, due to the increasing cost of copper in the global commodities markets. This shift makes pre-1982 pennies, like the 1981, deemed more appealing to collectors and those who value the intrinsic metal content of older coins. Because of their copper content, these coins are sometimes hoarded in large quantities for their bullion value, although melting them for scrap is illegal under U.S. law. As for mintage, the 1981 D penny was produced in enormous numbers, with a total mintage of 5,373,235,677 coins. This makes the 1981 D Lincoln cent extremely common in circulation, and it can still be readily found in pocket change or bulk penny rolls. From a numismatic standpoint, circulated examples of this coin are generally worth only face value due to their high availability, but uncirculated examples, especially those in high grades, such as MS-65 or above, are of more interest to collectors. Coins in brilliant uncirculated condition with strong luster and clean surfaces may be valued slightly higher, around 10 to 50 cents, depending on the market and demand. Coins graded by third-party services, such as PCGS or NGC, that achieve high mint state grades, e.g. MS 67 red or higher, can be worth several dollars or more, particularly if they exhibit full red color and no spotting or toning. The coloration of a 1981 D. Lincoln cent is another important consideration for collectors. Lincoln cents are generally categorized as red RD, red-brown RB, or brown BN, based on the percentage of original mint red luster visible on the surface. Coins designated as RD are more desirable and command a premium in the numismatic marketplace. Over time, due to exposure to air and handling, most copper coins naturally tone to a brown hue, so finding well-preserved red specimens from 1981 can be a challenge and are especially prized in mint rolls or proof-like sets. Although not typically known for errors or varieties, some 1981 D pennies have attracted attention due to minor die variations, such as double dies, die clashes, or struck-through grease errors. These are rare, but when present, they may increase a coin's value significantly depending on severity and visibility of the error. Additionally, there are discussions among collectors about the presence of a large date and small date variety for 1981 pennies, though this distinction is more prominent for Philadelphia and San Francisco minted proofs than for the Denver issues. In the broader context of U.S. history, 1981 was a year of economic transition and political change. Ronald Reagan had just taken office as President of the United States in January 1981, ushering in a new era of conservative economic and foreign policies. The country was grappling with inflation, high interest rates, and the lingering effects of the 1970s energy crisis. In this environment, the cost of coin production was becoming a serious concern for the U.S. Mint, prompting them to consider more economical materials for small denomination coins like the cent. The 1981 D penny, therefore, stands at the cusp of this important transition. It symbolizes not just the end of an era of copper coinage, but also the ongoing economic pressures of the early 1980s that influenced everything from fiscal policy to the very metals used in everyday money. From an education perspective, the 1981 D. Lincoln cent serves as a great starting point for beginner coin collectors because of its affordability, accessibility, and historical relevance. It reflects not only numismatic tradition through its long-standing design next top. The United States 1 cent coin of 1982, often referred to as a Lincoln cent, stands as one of the most fascinating and complex issues in modern American numismatics. While seemingly ordinary to the casual observer, the 1982 penny marks a pivotal transitional year in U.S. coinage history, marked by a mid-year change in composition, multiple varieties, and subtle differences that have intrigued collectors and experts alike for decades. First, some historical context. The Lincoln cent has been in continuous production since 1909, originally introduced to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin initially featured his initials VB on the reverse, later moved to the obverse shoulder line. For decades, the coin retained a consistent composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, by the late 1970s and early 1980s, rising copper prices created an economic dilemma for the U.S. Mint, as the cost of producing a single penny began to exceed its face value. This economic pressure, coupled with budgetary concerns, prompted the Mint to seek a cheaper alternative. Thus, 1982 became a transitional year. For the first time in nearly a century, the metallic content of the penny was altered. The U.S. Mint shifted from the traditional copper alloy planchets, weighing 3.11 grams, to a copper-plated zinc composition weighing 2.5 grams. These new planchets featured a core of 99.2% zinc and 0.8% copper, with a thin outer layer of pure copper to maintain visual continuity. The change was not implemented all at once. Instead, 1982 saw both copper and zinc cents produced concurrently, creating a situation unique in the annals of U.S. coinage. Even more intriguing, there were 7 known distinct varieties of the 1982 Lincoln cent due to a combination of different compositions, mint marks, and 2 different obverse designs, large date and small date. These subtle typographic differences, particularly in the shaping and positioning of the numerals in 1982, have sparked ongoing interest among numismatists. To summarize the varieties, there are 4 Philadelphia minted coins, no mint mark: 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, and 1982 small date zinc. Additionally, there are 3 Denver minted issues bearing the D mint mark: 1982 D large date copper, 1982 D small date zinc, and 1982 D large date zinc. Notably, the 1982 D small date copper variety is extremely rare and controversial, with only a few authenticated examples known to exist, leading some to label an accidental or experimental issue. This particular variety has fetched significant premiums in the numismatic market, with high-grade examples selling for thousands of dollars. The small date versus large date varieties can be identified by closely inspecting the shape and alignment of numbers, especially the 2 and the 8. In the small date versions, the 8 is more rounded and the 2 has a delicate curve, while in large date coins, the digits are thicker and more upright. From a production standpoint, the total mintage of all 1982 Lincoln cents was staggeringly high, reflecting both the continuing demand for small change and the overlap of 2 different planchets and designs. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 10 billion cents, while the Denver Mint struck nearly 6.01 billion. The San Francisco Mint also struck proof-only copper cents for collectors, using a large date design, with a total mintage of around 3 million. Despite their vast quantity, the complexity of varieties makes the 1982 cent anything but common to serious collectors. Assembling a full set of all 7 or 8 varieties, including the rare 1982 D small date copper, is considered a worthy challenge and educational experience in dye diagnostics and metal analysis. Visually, the obverse of the coin features a familiar right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed originally by Brenner, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" along the top rim, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1982, with or without a D mint mark, on the right. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, carries the classic Lincoln memorial introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat ears design. It is flanked by "United States of America" above, "E Pluribus Unum" in smaller letters just above the memorial, and 1 cent at the bottom. The reverse includes subtle detailing. If one looks closely with a magnifying glass, one can even see a tiny representation of the Lincoln statue between the memorial's central columns. In terms of collecting, 1982 cents offer an ideal entry point for new numismatists interested in dye varieties, metallic analysis, and U.S. mint procedures. One of the best ways to distinguish between copper and zinc cents is by weighing them. Copper cents weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc cents are lighter at approximately 2.5 grams. Even minute environmental damage cannot alter their intrinsic mass, making a simple digital scale a powerful tool. Advanced collectors use more sophisticated tools, such as X-ray fluorescence, XRF, analyzers to confirm metal composition. It is also worth noting that due to the softness of zinc and its susceptibility to corrosion, many post-1982 zinc cents are prone to bubbling, rot, or zinc pest over time, whereas pre-1982 copper cents tend to be more durable. On the market, while common 1982 cents hold only face value in circulated condition, uncirculated and certified varieties, especially those with full red luster or high MS mint state grades, can fetch a premium. PCGS and NGC have certified countless examples, but the real allure remains in hunting for and attributing the different varieties correctly. A full certified set in MS65 or better condition can be both valuable and visually impressive. Proof versions from San Francisco remain popular as well for typeset collectors, especially those assembling complete Lincoln Memorial collections from 1959 to 2008. In conclusion, the 1982 Lincoln cent is far more than a mere coin. It is a time capsule of economic transition, metallurgical adaptation, and numismatic intrigue. Its existence bridges 2 eras of coin production and captures a moment when practicality met tradition in U.S. minting. For hobbyist historians or even casual finders who pull a 1982 penny from pocket change or an old jar, they hold a piece of transitional history. Sometimes even a small treasure hiding in plain sight.